Hello and welcome, my dear followers, or better to say the followers of the World Sense project. It's me, Paul, and today I'll talk about the first experiment I've ever done on the World Sense project. Some of you already participated this experiment providing their inputs, but none of you knows what the experiment is for. So let's find out, but before I move on, please subscribe to this channel, share everywhere where you can, and in the end you can give like if you like that experiment. And now let's talk about it. So the experiment was about to demonstrate how the world sense can work now in very simple and primitive way, like from Middle Ages, without using the computer power and its connectivity. So that's just demonstration and just to see if you might get interested, and if we can get really some forms, if something can emerge from our collective providing data. So I was in two ways kindly surprised, and it gives me more sense and more enthusiasm to continue in this project and to get much more and more results. So let's see what we got. First of all, I shared on my timeline on Facebook and in the World Sense Awakening group following a post where I wrote, think about the earth and then write down two numbers in a range from 1 to 100. And there are 74 comments which contains these numbers from you. So I was kindly surprised that many of you joined that experiment. Currently 52 people, and now if you are watching it, I can still keep this experiment running, have it open. So think about the earth and write down your numbers from 1 to 100. So I can then make precise picture which we got, and do not think about the results I will present here today. So that's first thing. And now let's see what we finally got. So here we see the graph with occurrence of each number from 1 to 100, and we see that from 1 to 15 all the numbers were used, some of them more frequently, like the number 7 or number 2. Then we have in the middle some even gaps, and finally we have also numbers from the end spectrum. If we sort them out based on the occurrence, then we get following graph where some number was used just once, and finally the winner is number 7, then the second number is 22, and the third one is number 2. And it's about now that it represents some common sense, as I call it, world sense, where we mostly use the number 7, then there is used number 22 and 2. So it is giving us some link between us, for example the number 7, and we might ask why number 7. I was thinking about it by myself, and I found two basic reasons. The first one is the light, and that's the rainbow, as the light is consisted of basic 7 colors. Like we have the sunlight, the white contains, when we divide it with the glass prism, then we get 7 colors from red to violet, which is the rainbow we can see when there is a sun and rain together. So this is refracted with the raindrops. And it's about the light frequency. Different frequency gives you different color. And then if we think about the number 7, then we can talk about the tones in music, where we have 7 basic tones in Western culture from C to B. So we have 7 tones. We can assign some color, and this is now about the sound frequency. So there is an explanation for number 7, but if we look further into the graph, then I have no explanation for a number 22 or 2 and so forth. So if you have some idea what these numbers are used here more frequently, please write it down into the comment line. What I noticed here also, and it's quite interesting, that a lot of times were used all the couples, like the number 22, 11, 77 and so on. So we used all of the couples in the high frequency and 99 as well. We can consider also a number 100 as it contains 2 zeros, and each of these couples has also each single number, like number 77 has very often the number 7, then 22 has 2, and number 11 has 1, 88 8, and we can still continue. So we got all these basic numbers, and 100 has number 10. And finally, just my personal surprise was that number 12, 13 and for example 21 was not used so often as I expected. So it's just my personal impression, but this is the common sense we got here, and if I get more input we can get more precise picture. And now let's see what we get if I used your first number in the horizontal line and the second number in vertical line, so we can get coordinates for the points. Then we will get following picture. And if you shrink your eyes and make the picture more fuzzy, like looking to the night sky, to stars, then you can get some kind of picture, and you will see some symmetrical forms. Like this one, for example, is very symmetrical, or you can see the straight central line like here. And finally, there is a upper wing or lower wing. I can finally represent it in some final form, which looks like this. So it's similar to the fish or the bird. And if you provide more inputs, we can get much more precise picture and to see what we get. And this is all about the world sense and how the world sense can finally work in the real time with much more higher numbers of inputs to getting much more precise, dynamically changing picture. And this is what I want to achieve with the World Sense project. And if you got inspired and interested, please provide your 2 numbers. Forget this picture, just think about the earth. Provide your 2 numbers and follow this project, clicking on subscribe or join me in the World Sense Awakening group. You can also support it via Patreon. And before we meet again, feel free to watch these videos on my right, and have a great time until we see you again. So goodbye.